We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Arthur Chokoto, and Lin Limponda, our sign language interpreter. Our top stories. Chief Secretary challenges heads of statutory corporations to boost their oversight mechanisms to ensure better institutional results. Communities urged to take children aged 0 to 10 for polio vaccination during the ongoing mass immunization campaign. And government appeals to companies and individuals to step up their support for Netball. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Chief Secretary to the government, Justin Saidi, has urged leaders in statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises to strengthen oversight when implementing policies that will help drive institutional performance. He made the remarks in Mangochi when he officially opened a training on corporate governance involving board chairpersons, members, and chief executive officers. Owen Mavula with a report.
Speaking during the official opening of the third cohort of the corporate governance orientation in Mangochi, Chief Secretary to the government Justin Saidi first reminded the board chairpersons, members and chief executive officers of their primary role in driving institutional performance to accelerate economic growth. The Chief Secretary to the government described statutory boards and chief executive officers as guardians in the first line of defense for public institutions to achieve good corporate governance. He said for statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises to thrive, there is need for boards and chief executive officers to promote prudent use of public resources, enforce robust internal controls, and address underperformance with seriousness it deserves.
We do not want to waste off resources. We want them to use the resources for the intended purpose. No corruption in the organization, and would want these organizations to perform. Those that are able to collect, let them now collect more revenue, because government has to operate, and the government needs these boards to help us achieve our objectives. They were appointed by Professor Peter Mutharika, and Professor Peter Mutharika has emphasized that he wants these boards to work, and work.
The 2026 Corporate Governance Orientation, which seeks to equip participants with leadership and management skills, is being facilitated by the Malawi School of Government, and Professor Louis Zimbiri is the board chairperson for the institution.
As board members or board chairs, there's need to be very critical in terms of how resources are managed, whether it's human resource management to do with recruitment, selection, promotions, or it has to do with salary, purchases, procurement. All these things have to be critically examined, and that as representatives of government, they must make sure that the interests of government are taken into account. So accountability means being accountable to, rather than just letting things happen in a laissez-faire manner.
The Corporate Governance Orientation Workshop is being held under the theme Strengthening Economic Recovery and Effective Performance through Enhanced Corporate Governance in Statutory Corporations. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has confirmed that 22 people have been killed, 71 injured, while over 31,000 households have been displaced in the recent flash floods. DODMA's Commissioner Wilson Moleni disclosed this in Mlanje and Palombe districts during a relief food distribution exercise to the affected households. Chisomo Break with the report.
Moleni stated that the extent of the damage is enormous and it needs close to $10 million to reach out to all the affected households in 16 district councils.
The damage is extensive. People have lost homes, they've lost their food, cropland, huge areas has been lost throughout the places that we've been to. As we've seen that we've been going about the country, meeting people, seeing the infrastructure that has been lost. People have lost a lot of their property and a lot of their livelihoods.
The DODMA Commissioner said President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has advised DODMA to reach out to every affected household with relief support an assurance that the survivors are not alone.
Already reaching out to all the households. We've reached to a good chunk of the people that have been affected, and this process is ongoing, and eventually everyone who has been affected will be reached with relief items.
Paramount Chief Kaduya of the Lomwe people has since hailed President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for making sure that all the affected households in the country receive assistance from the government. In Mulanje district alone, the disaster has displaced 700 households and it has one camp. While in Palombe district, 2 people were killed while others have been displaced. The country received heavy and destructive rainfall consistently from 15th to 19th March 2026. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Palombe.
Floods have devastated part of Mchinji, where relief and recovery efforts are currently underway. Among those reaching out to the victims is Apostle Clifford Kawinga, founder of Salvation for All Ministries International. He has since assisted more than 600 households by providing both immediate and long-term relief items. Miriam Galiza reports.
It was an ordinary morning for Stella Kajepa, whose husband runs a small grocery store at the Kaigwazanga Training Center in Mchinji. But around 6 a.m. on that fateful day, her life took a devastating turn. She recalls hearing a loud, unusual noise. When she stepped outside, she saw a surge of water rushing toward their home. In a panic, she quickly woke her husband and children, but within moments, the faster-moving floods swept away everything they owned. Kajepa says the destruction was total. To make matters worse, she lost about 915,000 Malawi kwacha in cash, money belonging to her village bank, where she serves as a treasurer. When we found her, she was trying to salvage what little remained, sun-drying soaked sugar and bicarbonate of soda, some of which had already begun to melt. Her story reflects the broader crisis in the area, where more than 633 households have been affected. But amid the devastation, there has been some relief.
We have been deeply affected as a family. We have lost a lot of money. And even my tailoring business was disrupted after my machine was washed away. If your wishes could support us with some capital, it would help us get back on our feet. However, I am grateful to the apostle for replacing the village bank money that was also lost. I only hope that others who have been affected can receive similar support.
Apostle Clifford Kawinga, through the Hope Field Initiative and Salvation for All Ministries International, has stepped in to assist affected families. The outreach has provided essential supplies, and it is also supporting long-term recovery through irrigation farming initiative.
So we have brought the message of love, the message of hope, to encourage them so they should still be stable in their spiritual life, stable and have confidence in themselves. They shouldn't feel rejected and betrayed. We are opening 3 clubs now. So each and every club will have 200 members, which is going to be 600 households so far. So we'll bring fertilizer, hose, solar pumps, and other necessities, seeds, maize seed, to make sure that they should be the way, normal life, the way they have been before.
According to Mchinji District Commissioner Lane Kajavula, the disaster has affected over 600 households, with many families losing homes and livelihoods, though fortunately no lives have been lost.
The problem is quite big because as of now we are talking about over 633 households being affected, and some of those households we are talking about completely losing their whole house. Some have lost property, but we are happy and we thank God that we have not lost any life despite this particular incident being big.
Meanwhile, the disaster has also disrupted education in the area. Some displaced families are currently sheltering in classrooms, but plans are underway to relocate them to temporary structures to allow learners to resume classes. Miriam Kaliza, MBC News, Mchinji.
The Muslim community has urged Malawians to share their resources with the needy. Sheikh Yusuf Zimbiri made the appeal during Eid al-Fitr celebrations at Uliwa Mosque in Karonga. The celebrations were attended by several notable figures, including Duncan Kaonga, Member of Parliament for Karonga South. Ludovico Nyirenda has filed this report.
Speaking during the celebrations, Sheikh Zimbiri thanked the parliamentarian for the support rendered towards the event. He also commended Muslims for their dedication and resilience throughout the month of Ramadan. The Sheikh further encouraged Malawians to cultivate the spirit of giving and sharing with the less privileged at all times, saying this aligns with their teachings. In his remarks, Member of Parliament for Karonga South, Duncan Kaonga, said he found it necessary to celebrate with the Muslim community in order to better understand the challenges they face during the holy month of Ramadan.
Put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front, because nothing will be achieved without him. We all fear him, we all praise him, because he's the one who made the heaven and earth. Even our president on this day, most of the times he also puts a regalia like this one to show oneness. Malawi is one, and we should also be one people, one nation.
During the event, Kaonga donated a cow to the Muslim community at Uliwa Mosque towards the celebrations. Eid al-Fitr, also known as the festival of breaking the fast, is a significant Islamic holiday that marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Ludovico Nyirenda, MBC News, Karonga.
The Anglican Church of Malawi is slated to host 150-year celebrations of Mothers' Union from the Central Province, comprising countries such as Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. Speaking to MBC, organizing chairperson of the celebrations committee, Melinda Zanja, said over 2,500 delegates are expected to attend the celebrations, slated from 9 to 12 April. Paul Mlowoka with the details.
Zanja said the conference is expected to be held in Longwe, where delegates from the 4 countries under the Central Province of Africa will be in attendance. She describes the Mothers' Union as a vital arm of the church, known for advancing the gospel through charity, family support, and social outreach programs. Zanja adds that everything is set for the celebrations.
We started preparing for this event last year when it was decided that the provincial celebration is going to take place in Malawi. At that time, we set up a committee which has been organizing. We've arranged the venue for the function. We have arranged the number of people to do the preachings. We've arranged a number of people to come and do different teachings that I've talked about. We've arranged even with the other authorities like the Kachere prison that they allow us time to go and visit them. We've arranged with an orphanage that we can also minister to them during this time.
The Mothers' Union was founded in 1876 in England with the goal of unifying women for the common goal of spreading the gospel by demonstrating love and promoting social welfare. In Malawi, the movement began in 1920, meaning the local chapter will be marking 106 years of existence alongside the global 150-year celebrations. To date, the Mothers' Union operates in over 80 countries worldwide. Paul Mlowoka, MBC News, Lilongwe.
You're watching the latest edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Chief Secretary challenges heads of statutory corporations to boost their oversight mechanisms to ensure better institutional results. Communities urged to take children aged 0 to 10 for polio vaccination during the ongoing mass immunization campaign. And government appeals to companies and individuals to step up their support for Netball.
dziko lodzaza ndi kuthekera maka kwa iwo ogwira ntchito molimbika. Iwo ochita malonda ali nazo zifukwa zonse zopititsira patsogolo ntchito zawo, monga kukhala ndi yawo post office box. Ndi Malawi Post Corporation sizikutenganso mtunda wautali kuti mubwezeretse kapena kutsekula post office box ndi kuyamba kulandira makalata anu mosavuta. Kwa onse ochita malonda, makampani komanso mabungwe ndi zotheka kukhala ndi post office box yanu kapenanso private bag malingana ndi kukula kwa kampani yanu. Anzanu oona patali anatsekula kale yawo post office box ndipo mtima unachita zii pa nkhani ya chitetezo cha makalata awo chifukwa box yawo amatsekula okha basi. Mukatsekula post office box ndiyo khazikika, ndizothekanso kusamutsa box yanu kupita dera lina. Kuti mubwezeretsenso kapena kukhala ndi post office box, pitani ku post office yomwe muli nayo pafupi. Malawi Post Corporation, worth your trust.
Welcome back. People in the country have been urged to take their children aged between 0 and 10 for polio vaccination following the launch of a mass immunization campaign set to run until Friday, March 27, 2026. Health specialist for UNICEF, Joe Opio, made the call during the official launch of the campaign held at Naizi Primary School in Bangwe. The initiative is being implemented by the Blantyre City Council in collaboration with the Blantyre District Health Office. Well, the campaign, conducted in partnership with the World Health Organization, WHO, and UNICEF, aims to vaccinate more than 300,000 children across the city against polio.
As UNICEF, our mandate is really to make sure that every child survives. Part of doing this is to make sure that every child who is eligible for vaccination is vaccinated. We take polio outbreaks as a very serious disease, and that's why we've partnered with the government of Malawi, Blantyre City Council, to make sure that every child below the age of 10 gets vaccinated to prevent every child from getting the polio virus. The message is really for parents, caregivers, caretakers to make sure that every child who is eligible, every child who is less than 10, comes and gets the vaccination. The vaccination is very safe, it is protective, and it's effective against polio.
You also recall that Blantyre City registered one person suffering from polio, and this is not good news because polio is a difficult disease. And this exercise will help us to reach out to many kids in the city, aged from 10 to 0, to ensure that they are all prepared, they are all covered from this deadly disease. But further to that as well, the target of this exercise is to reach out to about 324,000 of our kids in the city to ensure that we don't have any polio in Blantyre. But I would like also to extend this message to our colleagues from different faith groups who are discouraging their kids to participate in this exercise. We would like to encourage them to bring forward their children, but also sensitize those that don't believe in vaccinations, because this is life. So we need to protect our kids that when they grow up, they shouldn't have any challenges with this deadly disease, polio. Now, further to that, as Blantyre City, we also try our best to ensure that we sensitize the general public in terms of sanitation. Most of the areas that we normally face cholera outbreaks, and this time around also polio, the areas that have challenges in sanitation. So we expedite to ensure that we reach out to residents in the markets, in public spaces, in schools and other areas to ensure that each one of us has received the message of protecting our environment.
The Technical, Entrepreneurial and Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, has advised 30 instructors from Southern Region Technical Colleges to use their newly acquired AutoCAD electrical skills towards national development. Speaking at the end of a 5-day training workshop in Palombe, Regional Service Center Manager for Southern Region, Concepta Bamusi, underscored that the training is vital for modernizing electrical engineering and elevating teaching standards. Bamusi observed that students trained under TVETA programs play a crucial role in the country's economic and structural progress through the diverse skills they gain.
Actually, when I look at TVET across the globe and TVET back home, I see it as the arm for development. If ever a country has to develop, the TVET sector should do the right thing. We are looking at the TVET sector brewing artisans that should be able to run the economy. For example, if our trainers that we have trained today are going to train our students well, it means these students, as they are getting employed by Ilovo, by Ejenko, even in the education sector, it means these students will be able to run effective systems in those economy. So if you look at everything, I was telling them that when we look at our daily living is TVET. There's nothing that you can point out and say TVET is not part of, which gives us a huge role on the development of the country.
And class representative Japhet Chauluka has held the initiative, stating that the software will enable instructors and students to create technical drawings with greater ease and accuracy.
You know, you can't fix what you don't know how it works. Therefore, we have covered areas of design, interpretation of circuits in AutoCAD Electrical, which is a special software that the electrical technicians and engineers use to understand designs.
Forja Sacco Limited says it has registered growth in assets from 975 million kwacha in 2024 to 1.2 billion kwacha in 2025. President of the credit cooperative, Benedetta Yafeti, made the remarks in Lilongwe during the Sacco's annual general meeting. Olive Piri reports.
According to the president for Forja Sacco Limited, Benedetta Yafeti, in 2025 financial year, the cooperative faced challenges like liquidity constraints and a decrease in its membership. Yafete says despite these challenges, Forja Sacco Limited has still managed to succeed financially.
We've grown our total assets to 1.2 billion from 975 last year. So it's one of the positives. Our loan book has also grown to 600 something, which is very positive from 500 something. So we are growing.
In his remarks, Principal Cooperative Management Officer in the Ministry of Industrialization, Business, Trade and Tourism, Raphael Kondewa, commended the role the credit cooperative is playing in improving the financial needs of its members. He has since assured to provide the necessary support. Kondewa has also urged the management of Forja Sacco Limited to remain focused on improving its performance.
Looking at some indicators like the assets, looking at the financial reports, it looks like they have made some surplus mergers. It is not far away from what they did last time, but it's looking good, and it of course it's looking good, and we are impressed that I think they're going on the right way.
Forja Sacco Limited has a membership of 1,262, a figure that has dropped from 1,630. Meanwhile, the Sacco is targeting to reach the 2,000 mark in its membership. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And finally, in sports, government through the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has appealed to more companies and individuals to come forward and support the game of netball. Principal Secretary in the Ministry, James Ndalama, made the call on Sunday when he represented the Minister, Alfred Gangata, at the final matches of the FDH Premier Netball League in Blantyre, where Blue Eagles were officially crowned champions. Norbert Jameson with a report.
Ndalama said government is already doing a lot by supporting netball through some of its institutions that own clubs like Blue Eagles and Silver Knights. He added that funding towards the sport has also been increased this year.
Yeah, we encourage all corporate organizations or companies, including individuals, to sponsor netball and other sports. This sponsorship will result in improvement of the ranking of the Malawi netball team, because many players have been identified, and you could see the competitiveness of the competition. Players are working hard. There's a good motivation because of the money. So we ask other companies to join government FDH to promote netball. You may also take note that the government has also increased allocation to netball this year. Last year it was 1.5 billion, this year it's 2 billion.
Commenting on the just-ended competition, sponsors FDH, through their managing director Noel Nkulichi, said it was a success.
Very impressed. I think what we thought was going to be an exciting one, it has gone beyond excitement. We can see a lot of talent, and therefore we believe we have delivered.
The sponsors' sentiments were echoed by Netball Association of Malawi President Vitumbiko Kubuduza.
I think the first season of the FDH Premier Netball League has gone really well. So we've managed to finish at least by March, and I think we've played over a period of 8 months. So I think that's good. 264 games in 8 months was good. We're looking forward to the new season. I think that we've seen generally a lot of improvement from the teams. There's more competition, there's no outright winner, teams are fighting towards the end. The fighting spirit can be seen. The level of play has improved, so as now we're excited.
Brigos were officially crowned champions after winning all their 22 matches to walk away with 13 million kwacha. Sivonettes pocketed 10 million kwacha for finishing second, while third-placed Kukoma Diamonds got 8 million kwacha. The bottom three teams, Air Force Falcons, Karonga Queens and Ikwendeni Resource, have been relegated from the league. Norbert Jameson, MPC Sport.
Well, with that item, we've come to the end of this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Chief Secretary challenges heads of statutory corporations to boost their oversight mechanisms to ensure better institutional results. Communities urged to take children aged 0 to 10 for polio vaccination during the ongoing mass immunization campaign. And government appeals to companies and individuals to step up their support for Netball. For these and the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Arthur Chokoto, and Linley Ponda, our sign language interpreter. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to the weather forecast. Today is World Meteorological Day under the theme Observing Today, Protecting Tomorrow. Therefore, this week you are free to come to our offices as well as a nearby weather station where you can learn about the observations and forecasting processes. This morning we had reports of heavy rain over Kawale Liameloro, which reported up to 156 millimeters, 45 over Mulanje Agriculture. The rains were also heavy over Nyangwa, but light over Zomba LTC and Nchisi Agriculture. We expect partly cloudy weather conditions and a chance of rain and thunderstorms, but over a few areas tonight and tomorrow. These conditions will be due to the fact that we are getting warm and unstable air blowing from the east into Malawi. Some air is also blowing from the southeast into Malawi. By this convergence of air will just sustain partly cloudy weather conditions and chance of thunderstorms and showers, but over a few areas. Therefore, tonight we expect partly cloudy weather conditions over most areas and chance of rain and showers over very few places, particularly along the lakeshore areas and also some parts of southern higher grounds, central and northern higher grounds, with the cool conditions during morning hours over the high grounds, but warm conditions along the lakeshore areas and also in the Shire Valley. Gabu may drop to just 24 degrees Celsius. We expect to see partly cloudy weather conditions during morning hours and a chance of showers, particularly over high grounds in the south, central, along the lakeshore areas and also the northern higher grounds. Later in the afternoon, we expect temperatures to peak significantly over the Shire Valley up to 32 degrees Celsius, but warm conditions will prevail over the southern high grounds, central and northern high grounds. We expect more clouds to be building up in the afternoon hours and high chance of thunderstorms and showers, but over a few areas in the south like Blantyre and Izomba. Rains could also be possible over the central areas like Nchinji, Lilongwe and Kasungu. Also a chance of rains expected over the northern areas like Chitipa and Karonga. We expect partly cloudy weather conditions on Wednesday and also a chance of showers and thunderstorms over a few areas in the south, central, lakeshore and also parts of northern Malawi. That's a forecast. Goodbye.